the cloud. And today is June the 4th. Okay, so Luis is not here yet. I would like to talk to him about his next lecture. And I do not know if he knows yet, but he will have a lecture for us the next Saturday. But I know he has a material, he's prepared, that was just a matter of time for us to schedule something. But he asked me to schedule some time for him to present the material that he has already prepared for us for this group. And for the prayer of the day, Leda, would you please say the prayer I have on the screen? Would you please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, and in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. So be it.
So be it. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. With that, okay, so I'm gonna skip this because I know someone new that is coming to join our team, but he's not ready today. I was just explaining, I was just repeating those slides just to, so he knows exactly what we are doing here. With that, I selected a very short video for us to watch today before we start reading the book. Is really something for us to think about. The last couple weeks, we have heard of very sad stories from, teenagers, suicidal or mass shooting, those kind of things. So I selected this short video for us to watch, and as a suggestion for us to reflect on the topic. And I hope you all can see okay. This word is brilliant in Portuguese. So it's a very nice video, but you know, there is no bright light coming out of the closet if we do not do anything, right? So we are the ones protecting our kids. We are the ones helping our kids. There will not be any bright light, any savior coming out of the closet if we do not take action. So let's pay attention to our kids, like pay attention to the young fellows. Those are the ones that we commit to help, to guide, and protect, right? So that's something that I would like to bring today for our reflection and, you know, for us to think about. So the last time we stopped by the question 695, succession and development of the human race. The question is marriage the permanent union of two beings contrary to the law of nature? And the answer, it is progress that has been achieved by humankind. So the next one then is 696 is if marriages were abolished, what would be the fact of human society? What do we think before reading the answer? If marriages were abolished, what would be the effect on human society? Any comment? Yes, Giles?
Sure, I've got a comment. If our marriage were abolished, people would get married in secret. It's something that humans like to do. And the effect, in principle, there shouldn't be any effect at all on society because people will live together. In Europe, if you live together for more than 3 years, you're considered married under the law, whether you've stated it or not. Things have progressed since this suggestion was made. What would be the effect of human society on the abolition of marriage? Presumably, we have to guess, he is referring to the ceremony in the Christian church. So I don't think today the effect would be almost noticeable. Sorry, Josephine.
I don't think he's talking about the marriage in the church. He's talking about the institution, I believe. Yeah, and it's the same thing. If you marry or if you live together, I think for the answer,
it's a union.
The same thing. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's talking about the union between two beings, right? I guess. Josie.
I was thinking about this conversation since we spoke last time. I think Allan Kardec in that point, the spirits are talking about not the marriage nowadays, it's exactly what you're talking, it's much before when people were, there is no any kind of family structure. And maybe like all the barbarians, when men would rape women and kids would be let alone and they need to grow themselves, like actually coming back almost like a wild animal life. And I see when they talk about marriage, it's not the paper, it's not Catholic, it's not anything, it's about the family. It's about to have a nuclear where two adults try to take care of the kids. And to me, I was thinking about it, and I think is that what he's bringing, that evolution in that way, not if you can divorce or how many you can, it's not about that, it's about bringing humankind from the wild and from that time to more organized society in that way. It doesn't matter what the role is. So that occurred me last time, and it's interesting that he's asking again. So that's what I think it's about.
Yeah. Thank you. Agree. So Art.
I question the question because it says that marriage is permanent, and I don't think there is a permanent marriage. The idea of legal marriage is Yeah, it's a legal thing because it, you know, if you dissolve the marriage, then what do you do with the kids and the property and all this kind of thing? Living together to me is, it's a good thing in the sense that you have to earn your right to be there. In other words, if you get a legal marriage, then you just sort of think you're bound by the law, and you're not really. But people who just live together, you know, they can dissolve that easily if they do not earn their right to be with each other.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other comment? Would you please read the answer? Art, can you read? Can you actually
Okay.
see it?
All right. If marriages were abolished, what would be the effect on human society? Regressing to the level of wild animals and savages. The free and unplanned union of the sexes is natural. Marriage is one of the first results of progress in human societies because it establishes fraternal unity found in every nation and among every ethnic group under different conditions. If marriages were abolished, humanity would regress to infancy and would place humans below a few animals that demonstrate having lifelong fidelity to their mates.
Right. Thank you, Art. Thank you. Len, please.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that marriage gives structure to society. The thing is, he doesn't put into the equation the intensity of love. The more powerful institution than marriage is the institution of love, because we all know there are so many marriages that are basically the people. It's the poor man and woman's divorce. They're under the same roof, but they're divorced in every which way, mentally, spiritually, physically. So it really is, he's talking about structure and to society regarding the children, legally, etc. But the superseding factor is the institution of love.
Yep. Yeah, agree. Yeah, good point. Thank you. Giles, you were the next. You're on mute. We cannot hear you, Giles.
Okay, now I'm back in business. I figured Len was going to say exactly the same thing as I was going to say, which is that marriage throughout the animal kingdom takes place in myriad ways, thousands upon thousands of them in different ways. There's marriage for life, the partners, no ceremonies involved. So this is something that the church has got together in order to get money and power. And the reality is that since we have the example from the animal, nothing would change in the human. There would be arrangements. This is what Muhammad was getting excited about when he wrote his book, the Quran. Well, sorry, other people wrote it for him because he was illiterate. But his purpose was to try and normalize and regularize society, and making people have a maximum of 4 wives treated equally was his effort to stop the barbaric behavior that was going on by the rich people, where they had 28 concubines, or was it 280, and they treated each of them as they felt like and were very bad. Selfish is the word. So what would happen? Here we say the abolition of marriage would be the return to the policy, to infancy of the human race. Not at all. It would go on just fine. People would get married in their various religions in secret instead of out front if it was abolished. And then what does the abolition of marriage actually mean? Does it mean that the town hall no longer recognizes marriages when you walk in and say, I want to marry this guy over here, girl, whomsoever? Does that mean the recognition, the removal of that? It's the question was asked in 1850, and it's therefore not relevant to 2020.
Yeah, I see. But again, this is not talking about the institution as we know today, but it is about the meeting between human beings and what they decide to do in the future as they decide to live together, or they decide to establish a family, or they just decide to live apart from each
The
other.
girls have got opinions on this, but I really don't think the abolition would change anything today. Back in 1850, whoa, there'd have been a civil war about it. Oh, surprise, surprise, there was a civil war about it.
All right, so so Maria left. So Leda, would you like to go next?
Yes, okay. So I'm just reassuring what you said, because I think this is from the point of view of evolution. And we still find it tough to live together, because it is hard to be with another person with a different background, and a person that as spiritists, we know that we are not together by chance. We are with the person that we have been living many lives with, and with a person that you hurt him or her, and she hurt you or he hurt you back. And so we are not together by chance. We are together for a purpose. So that's hard sometimes. And from the point of view of evolution, we need to put effort into that, into every relationship, especially this one that that your feelings have put you in this situation. So the spirits, they always say, until today, they always say that there is a reason for two people to be together, and we shouldn't, although divorce is not forbidden at all, but you should consider that you have a reason to be with that person, and you have to solve it first, and you have to make it a loving relationship, a forgiving relationship. If you don't do it now, maybe later in another life, you have to go back to this relationship.
Yeah, and I would add that when the spirits they said what they said in this question is because by then, as it is today, the institution of family, whatever that family is, between two women, to men, or grandparents and child, it doesn't matter. Whenever we have family, the institution of family, that is a great opportunity for us to exercise our weaknesses, to review some of our habits and concepts, right? And grow from the conflicts between as a family, that we have together as families. So it is not meant to be easy. It is not meant to be all happiness all the time, but for sure it's meant to be possible if we put some effort on it. Maria.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I believe that when Kardec used the word marriage, it refers to the monogamous union. If people spend a lot of time together, for me, it's the same case, all right? And they are committed to each other, to being faithful to each other. If on the opposite side, we analyzed the so-called free love, I don't know if the correct word, we will see that the level of commitment to mutual affective support of one of each other drops a lot. The magnetism that is changed in a sexual relationship form what we can call by Emmanuel for first units, that when lacking of a person can trigger large imbalances. We can see it in one book, Psychographic Chico Xavier by Emmanuel. These first units is very important for both in a relationship. When you told us, Anna, is not only between a man of a woman that have a sexual relationships, but between our family.
Yeah.
Então, the man and the woman are the base of the family. They have a big responsibility to the harmony of family.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, anybody else? Josie?
I just want to add something, Maria. I would not say the man and the woman, I would say the adults. Because, you know, it could be 2 men or 2 women, or it's
No, but I think she meant,
right.
yeah, I think she meant about, you know, having children together, I guess. All right, so 697, okay, move on. 697, is the binding nature of marriage a law of nature, or is it only dictated by human law? Huh? Comments? No?
That's hardly worthy of comment, since the divorce rate is about, what, 60% in America today? Or it's probably a little less in England, but who knows? I mean, can anybody tell me offhand what the divorce rate in America is? Is it 70%? So there's the answer. Men may change their laws, and those by nature are alone unchangeable. Okay, well, then let's hear it.
It's about 55% in articles I've been reading recently. It's a little bit more than half.
According to Alexa, it's 44.6%.
All right, so we're still about half of marriages, basically.
And what amount of domestic abuse is still going on in the marriages which are forcibly kept together, because this country provides no social security, economic net for abused women. As you may have noticed from the chat, we occasionally collect abused women and have to look for a place for them. Sorry, that was a question. The question was, what proportion of those 44% that actually do divorce, what proportion of the people that are not divorcing are staying together despite the violence? That's the problem. That's the craziness that's forced upon this society.
Yeah, and I guess the answer, it goes very much with that comment, Giles, because the answer is, it is human law that contradicts the law of nature. So human laws change while nature law is constant, and we know that nature law, the only one constant and true is love. Right? Len, please.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about the responsibilities of protecting the family, taking care of the family, children, etc. Sexual relationships is one aspect, but that doesn't translate into a successful marriage. We all know that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these marriages are together for all the wrong reasons. The bottom, my opinion, the denominator is the intensity of love for your wife or husband and the intensity of love for your children, which translates into protection, which translates into I will take responsibility to make sure the children are well taken care of and there's a house filled with love and happiness. Take that responsibility. And a lot of marriages, whether it be a wife or husband in particular, they don't do it.
Yeah.
It's the responsibility to take but it's driven by the intensity of love to protect and support that family and children.
Yeah, I agree. Any other comment on this? No.
Well, just
So-
one more remark. The local police, and I think police anywhere in at least this country, probably it's the same in other countries, but I don't know. The call to what they know is domestic trouble. It's a domestic. This is the one that they hate most. They find it most abhorrent and difficult to deal with. As they walk in the door, and the first thing that happens is the wife who gets up from the floor, who's been beaten with a baseball bat, and says, "What are you doing? You leave my husband alone." Grabs the baseball bat and attacks the police. And this kind of domestic nonsense, it's the only word you can use for it, is normal in domestic abuse cases. And it is such a difficult situation. As you want to separate them and they won't separate. You want to take the children away and they both start screaming. And then as soon as you go, okay, we'll leave you to it, and you go out the door again, the baseball bat swings again. It's talking about having a marriage partner to teach you lessons. My stepdaughter, here's a perfect example, had an abusive husband, a marriage, was lived with him for 9 years, then married him, moved state, married him to get him out of jail, and the abuse continued as though nothing had happened. So finally she ran to our house. That's 10 years abuse. Now, it did have a small effect on her character. It improved her character. So when we're talking about couples working things out together, then there is a wide range of craziness. I don't know what to say. I've told you it's the most popular sport in North Carolina. It probably is in some other southern states as well.
Thank you, Giles. Linda.
I believe this case that you're talking about, Giles, are psychiatric disorders, actually. So they should be treated, and these are the cases.
Dear, sorry, you make me laugh, because they should be treated. Yeah, who's going to go and grab the guy and put him in a baseball, in a jacket, and bring him for treatment? Not in this country, not in this civilization. Maybe in the afterlife.
Yeah, not this kind of treatment in a jacket or
no, because he will absolutely refuse, and he will take a baseball bat to anybody that tries it, or a gun.
Well, jail is a treatment as well, right?
Yeah.
So
he's been a number of times.
I'm not saying that it's the conventional kind of treatment, but there is treatment for those things, and this is the case where divorce should be taking place.
Yes,
these are
it
the
took
cases.
her 5 years. Took her 5 years when she ran away to get a divorce. And not to mention the lawyers have a good time, and it was a common law marriage to boot. And it had awful conditions in it, such as you go back to Pennsylvania and you meet with him and have a nice discussion with him. Yeah, and he brings a baseball bat. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, so, and one
I'm
thing.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and one thing also, Leda, is and we know because we have so many books about it. This is the typical case when one lifetime is not enough to heal and to work everything that, yeah, lots of lifetimes, lots of reincarnations, until these two individuals, they can release each other from whatever, you know, they forgive each other from whatever, but it takes a long time. Sometimes we think about, you know, just this lifetime, and we have to fix, we have to heal, we have to do whatever. It's not going to be that way. The other thing to think is probably they are meeting each other for, you know, I don't know, 10 past, you know, lifetimes, 20, but what that is drawing these two individuals to meet over and over and over, and they fail over and over and over. So at some point that will be a turning point, if you will. Something needs to happen, so they find their own way to solve whatever problem they had. And for sure, the problem didn't start this lifetime. It didn't start the past lifetime. It seems to me that it is a problem that is going on for a long time. Sorry, Maria.
We have heard that what God has joined together, let not men put asunder. I don't know if the correct words, all right?
What do you mean by that?
O que Deus uniu, o homem não separe.
Okay, so what God united, no man can separate.
Yes, but we need to know if the basis of the union, this union, is lasting love. I don't know if the correct word, lasting love, on the basis of mutual understanding, or if it is the result of a passion or temporary development.
Oh, okay.
That's right? Okay. When a union is not good for both, which risks of physical or psychological violence between them, the worst damage will be divorce, the worst one, which they postpone,
postpone.
Yes, an opportunity for spiritual attainment to another life. You sold again and again, and you told again and again, which can occur in more complex conditions in the future life.
Yeah, it's complicated to talk about that, because we cannot also set the case, you know, with if the husband is beating the wife or vice versa. So
yes,
it's complicated to say, okay, guys, you have to stick together because there is something going on. There is an exercise. There is a lesson that you need to learn together. And so when violence is coming to play a role in that experience, I would say it's a no. So let's, no. Violence, by violence, I mean not only physical, even psychological.
Yes.
Especially psychological.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Leda. Thank you, Maria.
There's a thing about human beings that sometimes we tend to keep some negative situations over continuously, like people who drink a lot or have drug addictions, and they need to get self-conscious about what they're doing and how they're destroying themselves. And it's a process, it's a therapeutic process. That's what I meant. So, and that happens also. We are going to study later about obsession, right? That happens also with the spirits and their influence over us, because sometimes we are under a negative influence and we still ask for the spirit to be with us. like this abusive marriages. So many times the spirits tell us that there are bad influences. They are keeping us down. They are influencing. They are destroying our lives with their presence. But we still want them here, the spirits, this negative spirits. So it's a whole process of getting more conscious about what we want and what is healthy for us, and little by little trying to live one day at a time and getting better, praying and trying to be more responsible for ourselves.
Yeah, thank you, Leda. Len, please.
On a personal note, my 4 sons, I've given them a speech before they got married in private. And what I say to them, you two talk about the hard questions. A lot of times couples get married, they're in a very euphoric state, romantic, not realistic, and they do not discuss with each other the hard questions, money, responsibilities, children, etc. And the second thing I tell them is always protect, when you go through all the trials and tribulations of this life, always protect the sacred marriage and love and understanding between you two. Always turn to the core, which is your love. And that obviously will translate into understandings. That has to be protected. Those two things.
Yeah, thank you, Len.
But a lot of people don't ask the hard questions, talk to each other, talk about before they get married. They just don't.
Yep. Yeah.
Len, I have to agree with you. Of course, they don't talk about the hard problems, because who wants to put voice to the possibilities? I mean, the rich people have lawyers and they have things called prenuptial agreements. Sorry, I laugh because we always think the rich people are the happy people on this planet, whereas in fact, they're the ones that never get any sleep because they don't know who is coming for them with a dagger in the night. And they know that their friendly billionaires, the ones they socialize with, hate them and are trying to do them down. And it may not be the case in all cases, but it's in enough cases that none of the billionaires ever get any decent sleep. Sorry, I'm getting carried away.
Thank you, Joyce. So 698, is voluntary celibacy, I think is how I say celibacy, commendable in God's eyes?
There's a simple answer to that. It is sometimes that is correct and sometimes it's not. And that sometimes means some lives it's correct and other lives it's not, or even parts of your life. So you become a monk age 30 and you have not been celibate before then, but you've had the experience and now you become a monk or a nun, which you can do. And then you have a quiet life after that. And is that better than having an active life? I would hesitate to guess.
Thank you. Gloria.
There's a joke I just have to share. It's about a scribe back in the day who was writing all the words by hand. And decades later, when it was too late to change it, his master went over, the original writings to see if he had copied it correctly. And he says, it wasn't celibate, it was celebrate. Get it? He'd misspelled the word.
Got it. Yeah. We got it.
And every time I see that word, celibacy, I have to think about that joke, and it just makes me laugh. In other words, they weren't supposed to be celibate. They were supposed to celebrate. So I would say, no, it's not normal. We're here to be human, and being celibate isn't very human. The only one I would exempt from that is Jesus, because he was here as God.
And nobody says he was celibate either during his first 20 or.
I'm not going there. I'm not
until
going
he came up to 30. So it's a matter of individual belief or concerning.
Yeah.
And the better question is, did Jesus have more lifetimes before he did his famous lifetime? That's another question. And oh dear, come on, Josephine.
I would like to abord here the sexual part more about the energy and how important this energy is for us. It's the more powerful energy in Earth. It's what we can give life to a new being. So that's when this energy is so important, it's so strong. And then I can understand, like, I remember reading Mahatma Gandhi, his book, his biography. He asked his wife 3 years before he started the whole independence for them to stop having sex, because he would get this energy and use to his strength. Because his energy is so strong and you can use for other things. So I think when you use for something that is for a powerful and to do something that makes sense, that is important, yeah, you are going to have a very, very powerful energy in your side. So that's what I think the celibacy depends why you want to do it and what's the goal to do that. But yeah, celibacy can really, you can focus this energy in something and you are really empowered whatever you're going to do. That's a fact. It's physical physics to prove that.
Yeah, thank you, Josie. Yeah, your comment reminded me a comment from Chico Xavier once that he mentioned that the mediums, they should pay attention to that specific aspect of the sexual energy, if you will, because it said something like, if you do not pay attention to it, if you allow that that energy to dominate you, it might be a door that, you know, dark spirits may reach out to you, you know, something like this. So I remember he mentioned a comment saying that for the mediums, he would rather prefer to see the mediums having a healthy and active sexual life, because then that kind of energy would have a I do not remember exactly his comment.
The sexual, I remember she saying a couple in a healthy relationship, sexual relationship, can heal each other. It's so strong, that energy, that, but it goes both ways. If you use the bad way, it's going to be bad. If you use in the good way, in the healthy,
or if you do not use it at all, you just
accumulate that in your,
exactly. That's the point, you know, that's the point he was talking about, that it's not a good thing just to how can I say, keep that, you know, stuck in you and just building up. At some point, that will not be a good thing with it. Yeah. Yeah. So Annie, please.
Sorry, you can't see my little, I changed the color of my little hand.
Yeah, I could barely see it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm following this like completely, but I disagree like so strongly with this statement, because I think there are many people who are, when it says voluntary celibacy, like nuns and priests, I think fall into that category. I don't know if priests are celibate, but nuns are. And I think God loves nuns. They're like really holy people. But I have a problem with the word like people that are celibate. Why is that selfish? Why is it selfish to be celibate? I mean, it's a choice, and it isn't a requirement of life. It's just a choice. So, you know, not everybody's into it, and that's okay. I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of what you want to do. At the end of the day, we all have this free will of doing whatever we want to do in our lives, right? The point is, are you really prepared for what are you going to face, you know? So if I recall all the stories that I read on some of the nuns and priests and saints in the, you know, in the past, some of them, yeah, they decided to follow that way, and they really they met that way. So they concentrated all their energy into their mission, and they were following it. Some of them, they failed because they were not actually prepared. I think in order for you to decide to do that and follow, you have to be prepared, you know, from all aspects, spiritual, physical, mentally, you name it. So, and if you're not, it's just a matter of time, I guess, that you will fail. I think it's a personal opinion. Sorry, Lynn.
Well, if you look at the history of the church through the many, many centuries, you even had popes that had children, had families on the side, priests. So that's not, that doesn't translate. I'm trying to understand this conversation though. I think what people are trying to say, healthy sex, man and woman, where is great energy, great passion, great love is a good thing. However, if it totally becomes an obsession, taking over your life, over sex, where then you make bad decisions, which could be destructive for your life and other family members' lives. I think that's what you're really trying to say, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Exactly. Thank you. So, okay, so the answer is, the question is, voluntary celibacy commendable in God's eyes? And the answer, no. Those who are single for selfish reasons displease God and mislead others. But yeah, Josie.
Now, I just want to comment on Annie comment. Reading the answer looked like, oh no, if you are not doing submission, you cannot be celibate. No, I think you can. If you, Annie, as a person, decide that you don't want to have sexual life, and I think that's fine. Just be careful what you do with this energy, because it's going to be stuck in your body, and it's a very, very strong energy, and you need to just try to focus in and bring to another situation. Make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. That could be just as destructive. In other words, you want to be celibate, that's your free will. That's free will, your decision. Okay, fine. But then again, it's like a pressure cooker. If you have no basically relief of all this passion, you know, sooner or later, it's going to be expressed in a different way.
Can it be meditation? Can it be you balance your chakras? But
right, but I'll stick with the sex.
So sorry, Claudia, I need to hear Annie's comment because she has something.
And again, I mean, I just so strongly disagree with this, which is why I'm saying something. Because let me tell you, I'm sure there are millions and millions of people in the world that sex isn't the be all end all for them, and nor is marriage or children. And in my opinion, that is absolutely okay. And, you know, and I don't think I think there are again, millions of people that they're not married, they may not have children, they're not with somebody, and they don't have this burning desire to go out and have sex with a whole bunch of people, or you know, with one people. There are actually people in this world that have many other interests, and sex might be, you know, number 25 on their list, and there's a million things that come before that. And also they might be the type of people that, you know, maybe they're very selective. But it just, for lots and lots of people, this is not number one in their life, and that is okay. And that's another thing with society or like today is that is so mucked up is, you know, you've got all of these people, young adults that they have this idea in their head, they have to get married and they, you know, they have to have children because that's a normal thing to do. Well, you know, what is normal? What is selfish? What is, you know, and I think we're finding that out in today's world with women, men with men, that LBQGHIJKL, whatever the hell, you know, these kids are saying now, but they're not, they don't want to have sex with men or women. And it's all going to be acceptable. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I see your point, and I cannot say it's not a valid one, but when I think about what is the purpose of us being here, I think at the end of the day, it's all about what you have committed to do in this lifetime. Did you come over here in this lifetime to be to spend your days meditating? Then yeah, this is what you meant to be doing. You want to educate your mind, you want to discipline your mind, then you're doing the right thing. But if you commit to come over here and I don't know, perhaps give life, you know, allow someone that, you know, you commit to help, to guide, to, you know, to educate towards that person, you know, development, then perhaps you were just taking a bypass or, you know, taking another course. But again, there's no right or wrong. It's not about doing right or wrong. It's just that this time, what you decided to do is disaligned to the plan that you agree on prior to reincarnating. If it's not, then that will be another adjustment later on. Nobody's going to punish you for that. You know, Gloria, please.
I'm trying to imagine when Kardec produced this. What confuses me is those who are single for selfish reasons. And what's a selfish reason for being single?
For example, I just happened to meet someone that decided to live in her house and not really be social because of, in her mind, the people around her, they were not equal. So, and then I thought, okay, so what is life if it's not for us to meet other people? And then if they are not the same as me, if they do not agree with me, that's okay too. I do not know the whole truth, but this is not enough for me to isolate myself. I also met another person who had, her parents died when she was, you know, really young, and for so many reasons, she grew up thinking that nobody loved her. So she decided to shield herself against the world. And now she doesn't have any other relationship. She's like enclosed in this nutshell that she's protected. So she's not actually exercising all the things that it would be good for her to exercise, you know, to practice love and, you know, and sometimes, yes, you will be rejected. Yes, you will be betrayed. But so what? What do you do with that?
And Anna, you can end up losing your incarnation, your chance to grow, your chance to improve.
I don't want to repeat this reincarnation again, Josie. So I want to pass this time. So I will take my chance and I'm gonna do everything that I can to pass this time. I don't want to repeat this over and over. Yeah. Leda.
I I think the question is written in a way that leads us to believe that it's a bad thing to be single or to be a bachelor, but it's not. It's not what it's saying. I mean, it's we have to understand that it was a time in the 1850s when the Catholic Church was very powerful, especially in France, and people used to see celibacy as a goal, like people who are like priests and nuns that are celibataires, they were better people, and these were an example, and that's what Kardec is asking. Should we see these people as an example, as something that we have to achieve? And the spirits are saying, no, they're not. You don't have to be like them. You don't need to be like them to be in God's will. You know, to do what is your role in the universe. You can have a partner. You can have a mate. I believe that's why Kardec asked this question.
Yeah,
Can you understand that?
Yes, because if and that reminds me what someone told me about one of my reincarnations, actually 3, when I decided to be a nun, and especially the first one, when I isolated myself from the world and I spent the whole every day just praying. And once I transitioned to the afterlife, to the spiritual realm, then they said that I was very depressed because it was not for me to do that. It was okay for me to be a nun, but it was for me to go after to look after the people, to help others, to go to the street and help others, but not to isolate myself. And that was a very deep feeling of that I failed, because I had a plan to go there and help other people, but instead I decided to just spend my day praying over and over, and at the end of the day I didn't do anything. So sorry, Tom, please go ahead.
Who's this God's eyes? Who's God?
You tell us. What do you think God is?
Creation is light. Light is energy. There's no such thing as God. It's all man-made. When you go to the spirit world, there's no religions. There's no deities, no gods, no nothing.
Agree. Yep.
Yeah, even answered by is the first question actually is the first question of this book, when they say, oh, I don't know, say in English, and the answer from Allan Kardec, what is God? Do you have there? It's a good one to read now.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. Since
I've
you
dealt with the
asked,
spirit world for the last 20 years. And every spirit, every home circle, everything I've ever dealt with, not one spirit talks about God.
it is the very first question of this
First
book.
question.
What is? He doesn't ask.
It doesn't say
who.
It's what.
He's asking what. What is God? God is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things.
So, Tom, when you say it's energy, it's light. Yeah,
Never heard any of that. All the times, all the spirit communication I've done, all the years I've read with Leslie Flint and all the spirit communicators, they never ever come out with anything like that.
You can go on a little bit, Anna, because he will explain what they are the attributes of God.
Creation is light, and light is energy.
Yeah.
I think it's the
number 3.
Question number 9. Maybe,
all these come down to one person. It's not one person. It's the whole creation is light and energy.
No.
So I don't know where these come out with one single person.
Oh, attributes of divinity.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
I'll ask you one question. When did the humans come to Earth and who brought them?
Yeah,
You know?
it is a very good question. Like I said, the first part of the Spirit's book explained a lot about the God's creation, and this book, the Genesis, also covers all of that.
See, when you're talking about this stuff here, you're going back hundreds and hundreds of years. The spirits today are more, the people of today are asking more up-to-date questions of who they are, what they are, where they came from, why they came from, what they're here for, and where do you go when you return. But the biggest first one is, who brought you here? Do you believe in the spirit star beings? Do you know that you were cloned from two other species from two other worlds that were brought here millions of years ago?
Tom, that just pushes it, that begs the question, because where did those people come from?
That come here, that goes up all the time, they come here to look after you because they're the ones who brought us here. We're here to evolve.
Tom, I have to say that begs the
evolve.
question. That begs the question because it just puts it off onto a different planet or a different civilization. Where did they come from? So, sorry.
They're more evolved. Earth is the second lowest of evolving in the universe.
Well, yes, I've heard that, but as I say, it begs the question.
All these other planets and all these other beings, they're way, way, way more evolved than us. I mean, we're so bad on this Earth that we're killing our own brothers and sisters. We're destroying our own planet. That's how evolved we are on Earth. The ignorant with stupidity of who they are and what they are. And all the information that's out here, and they still don't know it.
Yeah, so that's why we are here to learn and to educate ourselves. How we do that, how we evolve if we do not educate ourselves. So we better take the chance, we better take this opportunity to educate ourselves, to start.
I agree with everything you're saying, but we're going back, you're going back too far here and bringing what you're going to learn from here is out of date. What's happening now, today, you know, when I try and tell people what the spirit world is working with now, to want everyone to go back and sit in a home circle. Now, you don't need a medium. You don't need a medium for a home circle. The medium is the sitters and the room. And you just give your time, 1 hour once a week or twice a week or whatever. And you sit in the dark and you just play music and give your thoughts and so. And the spirit world will work with you. And the spirit world is working now that they're going to present, because it happened once in our seance, a beam of light is going to come into the room, about 3 feet in diameter. And when the spirits come in to that, they will walk into that beam of light. You will see them, you will hear them, you will touch them, you will talk to them, and they'll talk to you. Now that is what is working today. There's all the home circles all over the world, and the spirit teams in the spirit world, because this is the first time it's happened, they're all working together. All the spirit teams and all the home circles win. So every time somebody sits for an hour a week or twice a week or whatever, and the different times all over the world, the spirit world now is working within that room where you set up a room, set it aside and set it aside for your sitters. And then you sit in dedication, love and harmony, and you wait. It might take 6 months, it might take 2 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, but that's what they're working for. But it's gonna come quicker, because what's happening is every single spirit team now are all working together because of all the different levels of people who've evolved. We're all on different levels. And when those who are not sitting, what they've earned in their room and the energy that they've brought into that room, that energy is now shared with every other sitting seance in the home circle. And that's what the spirit world is working for now. And that's what they're asking people. Not some of the questions that are going on here.
Yeah, the thing is, the answer is the same, whatever we are talking about, 200 years questions and answers, or 2000 years the answers. The answer is still the same. The answer for all this is love. And whether you decide to study from a spirit that is teaching you right now, that's great. But whether you try to study those teachings from a 200-year book, that's great, is a decision. But I bet that they will all, I know if they are true, they will all pass the same message, which is based on love. And
love is the essence of energy and light.
Yeah, and I don't, honestly, Tom, I really do not, that's me personal, that's my personal opinion. I don't need to sit in a circle and have someone working on me, because I know what I need to work on myself. I know where my weaknesses are. I know what I need to exercise. I know where those teachings, based on love, where they are. So what I need to do is do my homework, go out there and practice. So I don't feel like if someone is doing something for me, that person needs to be myself. I need to be the one building myself, building my character, working on my character, and helping myself to improve based on the spirit teachings. Now, if it's gonna be a message from a circle, great, or a book, it's the same for me, as long as those teachings, they are based on love.
Yeah, you can say it's about your inner transformation.
Yeah.
It's your ability to vibrate with your heart and love and have elevated thoughts and feelings and find a good coherence, and then you can vibrate and you can contact any beings from any planet. From Earth.
You know about all the different levels in the spirit world.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Several dimensions, Pleiadians. We have this whole universe.
Yeah.
It's for us going up to be able to talk to them, because they're not coming down to talk to us. They can, but they are way we improve. So we
as
need
a matter
to
of fact,
homework.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is one of the questions they ask, what is out there in the universe? And the answer is, there is not a single place in the whole universe that is not filled up with beings. It's not, it's empty. There is not a single place in the entire universe. So there's everywhere else is populated. Sorry, Art. Go ahead, please.
There's millions and millions and billions of other worlds,
yes,
other beings, billions and billions.
And dimensions, yes.
We're the lowest. Earth is one of the lowest of the lot.
Yeah, but we'll get there. Be positive.
We are in the third dimension, guys. So we are in the third dimension. If you think that the problem is who knows how many, I heard until 12. So we are in the 30. We are low.
Be positive. We'll get there.
I got to make a point here. The Earth is a very popular planet for incarnations, and the reason it's popular is just because it's so messed up. There's a waiting list for Earth.
It's not for
right?
for.
No,
that's the story I heard. So second from the bottom, shitty planet is in fact the most popular one.
No, don't say that. Just be positive, and we'll get there. Let's do our homework.
Let me just deal with that. Kind of very safe source. Earth is one of they call the emotion planet. we experience all kind of emotion, from extreme hatred to extreme love. So we know, like, really demonstrate compassion because we came through all these emotions. So a lot of entity call Earth as the emotional planet. So where do you go to learn all those? Okay, I'm done. Bye.
Art, sorry,
Okay.
interrupt you many times.
Yeah, it's my book, The Owaspy, says that the best we can do in understanding the Creator is to have an idea that He exists. Beyond that is beyond our comprehension.
Very well said. Yeah.
Art,
Very
I
well
like
said.
that very much because that echoes what Sai Baba said. Sai Baba says, when you want to think about God, pick the holiest person you know, pick the best person you know, and pretend that's God and pray to him or her or it. And when time goes by, and maybe another lifetime, you discover that person was actually a person and had failings, and so is no good to be your God anymore. So pick another one and move on like that. And that's the most sane description I've heard of how to worship higher beings.
Worship no one.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna stop recording over here because it's 4:21. Len is saying goodbye.
Oh, Len, don't say goodbye. You've been boiling to say something. Come on, let's hear it.
No, I'm just taking it all in. I'm just taking it.